Hey everybody, welcome to Ask the Expert with MASA. This is where we answer your canopy and sunshade related questions, usually questions that we get from webinars, maybe sometimes emails. So what we're doing is just answering some of those questions here with a video, kind of a nice personal touch here. So today's question comes from Steve in Boston. Hi Steve, I am Steve as well. Thank you for your question. Your question today is about the daylighting style canopy, and your question is, when do I use glass versus polycarbonate? And that's a good question because those are both materials that go into the daylighting style canopy very frequently. And quite simply, the daylighting style canopy is just a canopy that is designed with a translucent, transparent layer on top. You're still getting the canopy function, but you're having that material act as a filter for that sunlight. The sun is shining through there and helping you create a nice look underneath. So when do we use glass? When do we use polycarbonate? Well, there are a lot of differences between the two materials, but they act pretty much the same way in terms of what they're doing inside your canopy. There is no actual rule about which one is best in every single project, but there is a rule of thumb, best practice kind of scenario. Generally, you're going to find glass in smaller to average sized canopies. And that would be your wall-mounted canopy usually, maybe a smaller post mount. And you're going to find that polycarbonate in large span canopies. Most of the time, you're looking at a freestanding piece there. However, like I said, certainly not the rule on that. But here's why you're going to find it like this. First of all, glass is a lot heavier than polycarbonate. And so the larger the piece that you're installing, the more support structure you're going to have required if you have a heavier material to hold up. So that's why polycarbonate is generally better for these large span pieces. You don't need as much support structure to hold all of that up. And that's great because that cuts down on your material cost. And also, less support structure means that you don't have a lot of bulk, a lot of framing to get in the way of the design. And number two, it's the strength of the material. Polycarbonate is 200 times stronger than glass, and it's hail resistant. So in these large pieces, the last thing you want is to have a little tiny bit of damage on a large piece of your material, and that starts to kind of spiderweb and move its way across the piece. Eventually, you're going to be looking at repair or replacement, which certainly is a costly endeavor. So polycarbonate, again, is great for these large span pieces, really for the strength and the weight difference. Visually, you're going to get about the same thing with the two materials. Glass, you can do just a little bit more with visually. You're going to have the choices of color, texture, printed, decorated glass, all kinds of design with glass. Polycarbonate, mostly limited to color choices. You get a lot of color choices, but that's kind of your limitation there. But otherwise, again, the materials are pretty similar, and there's no reason that you can't use polycarbonate in a small canopy or glass in a large canopy. Just know that you're going to have to really pay attention to the details in terms of how they're going to be supported and how they're going to be mounted. So that is your quick comparison, glass versus polycarbonate. Thank you very much for that question. And hopefully our answer helped you out just a little bit there. Thank you very much for coming by today. Have a great day.